In this PowerPoint, we'll be looking at the preterite and the imperfect used together to narrate past events. Please make sure you check out the pages in your textbooks that are listed here, as you'll find many additional notes and many examples so that you can view these two tenses together. Some general information about the preterite and the imperfect is that they are two simple past tenses. Simple here meaning not compound. These are most often used together, and it frequently depends on how the speaker or writer views a situation as to which one he or she implements. The preterite can be summed up as it is used to narrate past events, and the imperfect is used to describe or add additional details to an event or an action. Some uses of the preterite is that it can narrate in the past. It can refer to completed actions in the past, can sum up a past action, or physical or mental condition or state in the past viewed as complete. Can also be used to express a series of actions viewed as complete. And we can also use it to indicate the beginning or end of an action. The imperfect can be used to describe a state of events that existed for some time in the past. This is non-specific amount of time. Habitual past actions, what used to or would habitually happen or was happening. Can also be used to describe mental or emotional states, including plans or intentions, as well as interrupted action, along with telling time in the past or telling the age of a person in the past. We now move into the conjugations for the preterite. What you'll see here will be the regular conjugations. For the AR verbs, we have aste, o, amus, astes, and aron. For ER and IR verbs, we have iste, io, imos, istes, and ieron. Some verbs that are considered irregular in the preterite are dar, and here with dar, you can see that it actually implements the ER and IR endings without accent marks. We also have ver. Ver is technically regular, but similar to dar, does not use accent marks. And both the verbs ir and ser, which conjugate in the same form in the preterite, being fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fuistes, and fueron. Some additional irregular preterite verbs, these are considered irregular in their stem, but also in their endings, are this list you have here to the left. Their endings are iste, o, imos, istes, and ieron. And as you see, the verbs that have the asterisk will implement the eron in the third person plural. Some other verbs that are irregular in the preterite are conducir, traducir, and producir, which all implement the J at the end of the verb, and we'll use these irregular endings also. Just some additional points about irregular preterite is that the verbs tener, poner, hacer, venir, decir, and traer, when they are part of these families, they conjugate exactly like the respective root. And as you can see here in the examples, mantener, componer, rehacer, prevenir, predecir, and distraer. Another note is the verb hacer, when conjugated to the third person singular, being él, ella, and usted conjugation, changes from a C to the letter Z in order to maintain the soft sound of the C. And lastly on this, just an additional note, whenever you're trying to use the I impersonal of haber, there are, you would say hubo in the preterite. Some verbs that implement a spelling change in the preterite. We have cargar and zar verbs, changing with the QU, the U added to the gar, and the Z to the C. This only occurs in the yo form and is ordered to maintain sound. Verbs that end in G-U-A-R, you'll see the G-U change to the G-U with the diaresis above the U before an accented E. So this would occur in the yo form of the preterit. Double vowel infinitives, as you can see with leer, a vowel right before the infinitive ending, a vowel right before the infinitive ending on creer, same with caer as well. Change its unaccented I in the third person, singular and plural, to the letter Y. And verbs like reír are going to drop its E from the stem or the root and will implement the third person endings. So reír in the third person preterit becomes rió and rieron. And just a little strange guy over here, distinguir is technically a double vowel infinitive, but because it is a GUIR verb, the U is technically a placeholder, and we do not implement the Y on distinguir or any other verbs that are GUIR. Verbs that stem change in the preterit are only going to be your IR verbs and only are going to stem change in the third person singular and plural. So these will change from E to I and O to UE in the third person only. You can see here with preferir, medir, and dormir. And you see in all of the third person conjugations here, we have done a stem change, but only to the single vowel. The imperfect conjugations are much more simple. The AR verbs use ava, avas, ava, avamos, avais, and avan. ER and IR verbs, ia, ias, ia, iamos, iais, and ion. All of those would carry accent marks. The irregular imperfect, we are only going to have 3 verbs. We have the verb ser, the verb ir, and the verb ver. And lastly, there are several verbs that change meaning when conjugated to the preterite or the imperfect. So just make sure you are familiar with the verbs on these slides, this one and the next, and kind of understand how to implement these in your writing and in your speech. And as always, if you have questions, please consult your teacher and schedule time with her during her office hours after school.